Well, hello and welcome to Conscious Gatherers. My name is Beverly Thompson.
And I'm AJ Royce.
We welcome you. Royce is back. Yay. So good to have you back.
Thank you. Thank you. And I wanted to thank everybody for your kind thoughts and your sending of light and love and your prayers for my brother and I. He was going through a rough time physically. He had a fall and broke his nose, tremendous amount of bleeding, hospital stay 3 times within a very short amount of time. And so he's doing very well right now. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, that shall continue. Well, this is episode 170, and today's date is April the 14th, 2026. So here we are, and we're still in season 7, and man, we're almost in mid-April. So
amazing.
Yeah. So wow. Before we get into our insights, which correspond or correlate or whatever term you want to use. And so we're going
jive.
To jive. Yes, they jive. Yeah. So, but well, we'll share in just a bit. But prior to that, I just wanted to ask you all how you've been feeling and how these energies are affecting you. We just checked out the Schumann resonance. And of course, it's awful. And I know you bring this up quite a bit, but the electromagnetism of the earth and the changes and how it's affecting us humans. And some people are quite dizzy where they're holding on. And we actually experienced that when we were in Egypt in 1999.
Oh, yeah, that was amazing, wasn't it?
Because we were literally holding on. It's like,
yeah, especially right there on the Giza Plateau. I felt like I was walking in a dream. It was really weird.
Little did you know we are in a dream. Leave that to where you want to leave it. But anyway, I noticed for me, the challenges that I've had, and I've been using the word troubleshooting because one, I had some technical issues that took me a long time to figure out. I did it. Well, it's not quite done yet, but but most of it's done. And it's like, and I figured out through this process that a lot of my being unable to fix the situation, I was afraid to do one thing. And I went, wow. And I woke up in the middle of the night a couple of nights ago, and I thought, and then I figured out, and I was talking to myself like, what are you afraid of? Why don't you just do it? It's going to be easy and quick. And so I did, and it was easy and quick. So it's like, and that's part of our insights. It's like, what are we holding on to that we really don't need anymore? And, what are these fears? And what about this? What about that? And you think you're rid of them. And I know we've said this over and over again, but then it's in my face again. It's like, dang.
Well, it's like layers of an onion. That's how it came on, all the control mechanisms and whatnot. And so that's how it's leaving, is by layers.
That's true. They're going to say whatnot. Anyway, I just wondered what you all have felt, and if you're noticing changes in yourself, some hardships or whatever terminology you want to use, like your brother going through health issues, and you're being there to assist him, and what that does to you and the stress does to your body. And
it'll do a number on you.
Yeah, if you allow it, but it's something you're in the midst of an emergency, and you act. And I'm kind of speaking for you. Mm-hmm. So go ahead. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, it's you jump in with both feet because there's really not a choice. You go into action, and so it does take a toll if it keeps on going. I noticed for the first time that it will do a number on your eyesight. Um, and that's not a good thing. I really treasure my eyesight. I like to see clearly, and it wasn't happening.
So, well, it tells you something, and it's like even though you're in the action, if you have enough, what's the word I want, consciousness within you to make sure that you protect yourself through this whole process, even though you're taking action. It's probably a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, yeah. When you reach a point of being so tired, um, you know, you start to not do the things that you normally would do when you had all your wits about you. Like because I can hear a lot of them and see a lot of them. People on the other side, when you go into like a hospital, you kind of become a magnet. And if you're just too tired to be aware of just keeping your field nice and strong, that sort of thing can have an effect on you. So it was an experience that I'm very grateful is now over.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we're glad it's over too.
Yeah.
You're here and like, okay, let's move on. And if we do our best we can, keep your wits about you is what you said. And I can understand, you go into action and you almost go into panic mood in a way. I guess is another word of saying.
Yeah. It's easy. It's easy
Yeah.
to go into panic mode. Yeah.
You see somebody that's, you don't know if they're going to be around long, it's just, you go into action and then you do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
But do the best you can to protect yourself. So I definitely want to make a point of that.
Yeah, and it's amazing though some of the people that you connect with in the hospital, like a couple that I met by the name of Jolly, that's their last name. They were truly a joy to connect with, and if you guys happen to listen to this, thank you very much. Your presence made all the difference. Um, Gave me something else to focus on. So I appreciate that.
Oh,
But that's you'll see people like that that are just that they were placed there in your vicinity so that you could connect if you would. Um, it's not by chance. So it's nice.
but you pay attention to that.
Yeah, yeah.
And you appreciate. Go ahead.
I do have to say though that during the experience it got really dicey there for a bit. But my brother was passing out in front of me in a very small room we were in, the smallest room of your house. You can figure it out. And he was going backward, and my back, is it's not wonderful, but it's okay. And he was going back, and so I was grabbing for him and trying to ease him away from uh, this area and down onto the floor. And I was thinking, man, this is this is a lot easier than I would have expected it to be. So I knew at that particular moment that I had support. I had help in easing my brother down onto the floor instead of him hitting things full force and doing a lot of damage, which it would have done. So I'm very grateful for that. I got to see some really interesting and I believe miraculous things. We get to use that word every once in a while, and it comes across as a big miracle, although I think that miracles are something that are really the norm. If we have our eyes open and are willing to see it. So it was neat to experience that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing. I think that will help a lot of people too. So,
Yeah,
as
in the worst of times, some of the neatest things happen.
they do, that really kind of segues into. I wanted to bring up a little bit more of what I talked about 2 weeks ago in our last podcast about non-ones. And it's after, after that episode, and since I had just gotten the information, I was thinking, I wondered, is anybody else getting this information? You do wonder.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, yeah, a lot of people were talking about basically NPCs are shoot, non,
Physical?
no, physical characters, I guess. Yeah. Well, they're physical, but
Yeah,
non,
something must be something else.
but anyway, yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
We'll think of it. Yeah. And, but non ones, it's easier for me to remember that. And then a lot of people have been saying, yeah, a lot of them are going to leave. And I did ask, and please don't take my word for this, but I'm going to put it out. I did ask the next day, I said, well, how many people are there? What we would term as people, even though a lot of them are soulless, or they do have souls, and they're into that real negative energy, or they're very low frequency, and that will be leaving this earth. And I heard 300 million
It's a
people.
lot of people.
That's a lot of people. So, or what term people, but to let them go, because they need to leave this earth. This earth will not sustain them anymore. And if I recall, I was told they were uh, losing their charge. And then when I told you about it, I don't know if you remember what you said, but I did write it down. And you said it wouldn't be all at once; it'd be an extended mass exit.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but it's happening now. So a lot of people are coming up with what we term people coming up with issues. So anyway, it's happening, and it'll probably be sad for a lot of people where they really like somebody, but usually in a soulless person, there's not much there.
Yeah.
It may be more
Not much
technical
there
from the
to
heart.
like.
Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, thank you. So, anyway, that is going on, and so it will probably be hearing more about that. So, as you could tell, last time I was a little surprised. I thought, well, here goes, and I was not. Well, I never expect anything because we don't know what's going to come up each time. But I did want to bring that up.
But that is neat that you found other people saying it, because a lot of times when this stuff comes to us, you feel like you're out there on a limb, which that was a movie done by Shirley MacLaine, and I give her a lot of kudos for putting that out. It helped me back in the day, because you feel like you're out there all by yourself, and if you tell anybody what it is that you're experiencing, you really feel like you're all by yourself if they aren't experiencing the same thing. So yeah, that was a neat movie.
Yeah, it was. It said a lot way back then. Um, yeah, because and people are still being ostracized. But,
Yeah, which is absurd.
That's part of the whole awakening process, because now, from at least the people I see, it's getting pretty mainstream.
And there was
very
such a
centralized.
stigma before that we were. I know I was reticent
Yeah.
to come out with it.
And how did that happen? The whole conspiracy theory thing. I think with what I've read, this is what I've read, so I'm not sure about that. That actually came from the CIA. And so, people that came out with this information, they did just called conspiracy theorists. And that is not real, and blah, 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 blah. It's crazy. Well, all these other words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Empty words.
Empty words. Yes. Now the so-called conspiracy theories, or people are saying conspiracy truths. So I was like, okay, let's get on with it, guys. But things are definitely happening. So, all right. Anything before we get into our insights? Anything you want to bring up?
Well, we spoke about some
Oh, yes.
things this morning.
We did.
Uh, one of the things that was coming to me was this the pivot point. We're at a pivot point. We've been working toward an objective, and we're at that point where it's about to turn, open up. We're like working toward, with you hear the terms ascension process, raising our vibration, and having an effect in the world. That stuff is coming to a point where the whole of everything makes it's a pivot point. It opens up. Time, space, circumstances, the future, all about to change. And let me see, major operation with a huge amount of work and effort behind it, and clandestine in the good sense of the word. And the thing that I was actually seeing through all of that was Trump was written all over it. A big orchestrator of big changes happening globally. So for the good. And
Even though, if you don't mind me
go ahead.
bringing this in, some of this verbiage,
Oh yeah.
we're like, okay.
Some of that's for show. Some of it is to antagonize to get a reaction. That's how he operates, and it works.
It definitely works. At least it gets your attention drawn to certain areas.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, is he making a difference? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even though it's been said he's lost a lot of support, and he's going crazy, he's doing this, he's nuts, he needs to get out of there, blah 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 blah. But from what I'm getting, that's all part of the arduous process. Which I keep saying that over and over again. Remember that this is an arduous process of the takedown.
Yeah.
And the pivot point. Yeah.
Explain the takedown.
Oh, takedown of the cabal or the deep state, whatever words you want to use.
Yeah.
And actually, it's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. And that, after thousands of years of living through some of this shackling or slavery of words that we've used, and people are saying enough's enough.
Yeah.
And things are happening. I noticed before, big things are happening in Ireland. And so, by the way, to the average people, hang in there, and it is your home. And so, anyway, I guess we'll find out more of what's going on. But I think that the people are speaking up, but they've had enough.
Yeah.
This is our home, and we want to keep it our home. And I understand that.
Do you think I should mention this?
Yeah.
Okay. There was something else that may piss off some people, but so be it. The Vatican/Iranian kinship is over. So you may want to delve into that yourselves. We have been hoodwinked for such a long time that a lot of people are going to be shocked to the core when they find out the truth behind a lot of the mechanisms that are in place in our everyday lives. So when these things make themselves known, just try to, I'll give you some clues in what I got later on, but just hold tight. Don't lose your cool. Keep your feet grounded and your head in the stars.
And as a question, it was more of a personal question, even though I knew the answer. I asked it anyway. But are we making a difference? And that was the question. Are we making a difference? And a lot of people are thinking, I'm just one person. What can I do? And all these questions and comments that we make, we're not powerful. I'm like, Oh yeah, you are. So
We're
when I
extremely powerful. Extremely.
that's what we've been talking about. So when I asked, "Are we making a difference?" I heard, "Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah." So, and that's where I was hearing about thousands of years, of going through some of the. I'm trying to think of the words, being pushed down. And we said enough's enough. Like we're not doing it anymore. And this is worldwide. This is not just the United States.
That's right.
It's humanity worldwide. So we are making a huge difference. Each one of you listening makes a huge difference, and know that. Yeah. So, and I think more of that will come out in both of our insights. And of course, we're sitting in the same room, writing our insights and what we're receiving. And
Yeah, we didn't talk about it at all, but it was amazing how much of it just.
correlates
Yeah.
the words that we use. So, yeah. So we will share with you right now, unless anybody has any questions before we go on. So I thank you those that are listening live. I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. We do appreciate it. Because we don't do this for nothing. We feel like we're doing something to help, and we are helping. We know that, or else we wouldn't be here. And so
Yeah.
appreciate your listening and appreciate your feedback. If you have anything to add, to say, please do so.
Yeah, because you may help another, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
So it just comes up in what I have to say. So we'll get to it. Okay. All right. My insight. Soon all will be shown for humanity to understand the shortcomings of previous rulers on your dear earth. This is not to fault the leaders or so-called leaders, as they performed according to the duties given them by their predecessors until now. Talking about making a difference. We have spoken about your earth and humanity being on a turning point, or in a turning point, and that point has been realized and acted upon. You ask, what is to come next? I think we're all asking that, right? Pardon me. The downfall of almost everything. I wrote this and went, whoa. So the downfall of almost everything you once held dear is what's going on. This doesn't mean that all will be lost. All will be lost, but all will be gained.
Nice.
Think about that. Not all will
Read
be
that
lost.
again.
Okay. This is the downfall of almost everything you once held dear. This doesn't mean that all will be lost, but all will be gained. I like that. Makes you think about, what is that? It's like, what are you afraid of losing? It's like me trying to get in and fix my computer. It had to do with the password. So it's like, I don't want to lose any contents in my computer. I wanted to make sure it worked today, and blah, 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 I was telling myself. And then when I woke up in the middle of the night, a couple nights ago, I thought, this is BS. I'm talking to myself.
Get over your bad self.
That's what am I scared? What am I afraid of? And I'm like, yeah. So anyway, sometimes we get, speaking for myself, I get caught in that, and I admit it. So anyway, whatever. Okay. To continue on to my insight. As you move through this transitioning process, you are losing what no longer serves you, yet many of you fight this not realizing that it is not something you still need in your lives. This is not a judgment at all. It is a process of your integration into a higher or more inclusive aspect of yourself. Look at this process with new eyes, uh, realizing all judgments about yourself. These are healing times. Use them to your advantage. So much more is to come to help speed up this process if you so choose. Be not concerned by your fellow man. First, concern yourself with you. Then your views of your fellow man, your views of your fellow man will be seen through more loving eyes. That is a big change, biggest change on your planet. More loving eyes. And then I heard turbulence, then calm. Turbulence, then calm. So the process continues and will soon stop because of your loving eyes. So it's us. We're doing it. I did ask my galactic friends, and I was waiting for you to finish up, so I kept it going. And so I asked, "Will you be showing yourselves soon?" I meant into the physical, and they said, "Well, we already do," which I know. I knew that. But in a more overt fashion, we will be doing more open communication on camera. So, and then I said, soon, expound on that, or expand on that. Use both words. It was a conversation we had earlier on the words. But anyway, the answer was some of you may film yourselves in our open communication encounters. When you're ready is when this is going to happen, possibly this summer. And then I heard close encounters of the third kind. That's a good way to end this. Coming soon, not at a theater near you, in what you term your reality or your physical realm.
Yeah. I just thought of something. It's a memory of back in, I believe it was the late 90s. I was having an awful lot of contact with extraterrestrials at the time. And I thought, wow, I wonder if I have a little recorder right beside me, if I'll pick up anything. So it was one of those that's activated by sound. It'll start recording. So I got it set up, and I wasn't getting anything there for a while, except this one night. I woke up and saw that the thing had been running, and so I played it, and I got like a bump and like a that kind of a sound.
Yeah.
And the visual that I had in my mind was these little guys showing up beside my bed, and then all of a sudden the red light goes off on the recorder, and they say, "Oh, poop!" And they disappeared. But I actually got the sound on the recorder, so that came to my mind.
I haven't heard that story, so it's just a shh sound.
Yeah. There was a bump, and then that shh. Yeah.
We're being recorded. We're out of here.
Yeah, but it was evidence that something was there.
Yeah, that's a good hear it. Wow. How about that? All right.
Ready for mine?
Yes, please.
Okay, here we go. Finalization of misconception. Throughout the many venues of commerce and of the distribution of news, the great reckoning is about to strike. Its blow will be swift and mighty due to the abhorrent misuse of power and the implementation of greed worldwide. It will be stopped. For ages upon ages, the masses have been misled, hoodwinked, and distracted so that attention would be drawn away from the fleecing of the people, all the people, from the birthright of divinity with which we were imbued. While our attention was being drawn away from the truth of our beingness, we were being defiled with atrocities of every manner. Today, we find ourselves living in the filth of lies, offering up our children to the hands of darkness, defiling the sanctity of motherhood and divine femininity, castrating the ingenuity and valor of our fathers and sons, and subjugating every other form of life, divine life, until it is nearing becoming unrecognizable. This story has not changed for several millennia, for it is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. And as in biblical times, it will be and is being stopped. Our lineage is written out amongst the stars, for our lineage comes from the stars. In essence, we have separated ourselves from ourselves. We are not to be controlled any longer by the lies of darkness. Listen to your own heartbeat, and you will know that what I say is true. Open your eyes and look out into the heavens, and you will be gazing at the place of your birth. Listen to the still yet powerful voice within, and it will reveal the difference between lies and truth. Breathe in deeply, and you will know the breath of heaven.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. That's one of those that you kind of sigh after you hear it. Well, thank you. There's a lot in there.
Yeah.
Anything you really want to point out?
I think it kind of came through pretty clearly.
Yeah, it sure did. But you can see how the two correlated.
Yeah, we were actually saying the same thing through different filters, but saying the same thing, giving the same message.
It's been going on for many millennia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like no longer
Yeah.
are we allowed to allow this. It is being stopped. The words that it's being stopped.
Yeah.
And your last line about the breath of heaven. Yeah. So, we've been getting, all the shit show that's going on. That we've been again getting. I remember a few weeks ago, radiant joy awaits you.
Yeah. And
we're going to experience freedom like we've never known freedom before.
Yeah.
In a whole new way. Mm-hmm. It's like losing all, but we gain all. And so I was thinking about, that's the freedom that they've been talking, we've been told about. So, it's just all the old is coming down and we're starting, I'm going to say we're starting to do, but we're really not. We're remembering who we are, the divinity within. And you mentioned all of that and some of the dark forces, how that push that aside. And then we started living it. It fell for it.
Yeah. And, but we're at that pivot point where it all changes.
Yeah.
Because we want it to.
Yeah.
We've said enough's enough.
Yeah. Well, I think we're past just beyond the pivot point, just beyond. And so, just remember that and keep your heads up, but know your power that you have within. And yes, you are making a difference. And any troubleshooting you have within yourself or your surroundings, just take care of them. Get over the fear, the fear factor, and find out things a lot easier than anticipated. Even you talking about your strength of holding your brother up, and it was a lot easier than you thought it would be.
Yeah. I had help. It was obvious.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah.
And I wanted to mention that, being in the hospital setting, um, you're seeing some pretty rough stuff, and you're not only seeing it, but you're hearing it, and you can feel it if you let yourself feel it. But then every once in a while, you hear this little bit of music, and it's the birth of a child. It's
Really.
precious because they let you know when people are being born at the hospital. Some of them have little bells or a little bit of maybe had a little lamb or these different little snippets of song, and it's to let you know that a baby was just born. And so
How about that?
out of all the craziness, you get to hear that something glorious just happened.
Well, that's neat.
It's neat.
Yeah, how about that? All right. Thank you all for being here today. Appreciate it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Until then, just remember how important you are and love thyself. Know thyself, love thyself. And we're looking through, what was that? The eyes, the information I got on the eyes. Um, um, Loving eyes. And it sure does, make sense to me. So it's like, look through those loving eyes of yours. Yeah. We love you.
Yes, we do love you. And please remember the people who find themselves in some pretty horrible situations. Life gets a little crazy every once in a while. So if you're trying to think of what can I do to help somebody today, send some love and light to the people at the hospital, and not only the patients, but those who are trying to help. Everybody from the housekeeping crew to the doctors and nurses, the technicians, the people who draw the blood, everybody. They're there because they had a desire to help. So send a little love their way. They'd appreciate it. And thank you very much for listening. I love you all.
Thank you very much. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Until then, good day.
Bye.